Welcome back, guys. I did decide to try to do another one of these tonight. I'm still not feeling awesome, but you know what? The show must go on, and I usually try and do 2 videos a day for Pillars of Eternity at least, and I am going to try and get one of the Neverwinter Night one done today as well, and then it's going to be a bedtime for me. Go see my dog for a little bit, play with him. He has been a little bit bad it's a little laggy for some reason, but okay. The main road should be relatively clear. We did do a fairly good job at clearing that out earlier. I'm going to move the microphone a teensy bit. I think it was a little bit weirdly positioned there. Might be a little bit gravelly or rumbly in the beginning. Hopefully it's better now. And actually it might be a little bit too loud. Just judging from the... Oh no, you know what, it's fine. We'll leave it for now. I'm still figuring out this new microphone settings a little bit. And let's carefully wander this road towards Dyrford. There are several quests to do there, and we are going to do some of them because they are good experience and they aren't super hard as far as I remember. Could be wrong. I'm actually going to really quickly pause the video, see how loud this is, and then adjust really quickly. 1 second. And we are back and ready to roll. Let's do this thing. We should probably still stay in stealth though. We're going to be heading to Dyrford right now. I'm going to move the microphone just a teensy bit. I think it's wrong position. But that's okay. Here we go. There's a forest lurker nearby, right up there.
Just say the
is
word.
it just the one? If it's just the one, we could probably take it on. My dog is attacking his playpen. Let's fight it. Why not? We can take it. Just a forest lurker.
Yeah. You better.
Oh, you probably shouldn't be the main tank on this one. Oh well. No choice now. I guess it is what it is. Really need to get her a different weapon, like right away.
I'm here.
I keep saying that, but I keep forgetting to do it. She's completely stuck, so she's got to fight it out. That's okay, we got it covered. It's near death anyways. There we go, we got a little bit of experience. Not enough to make us even remotely close to a level, but you never know. In another 7 or 8 forest lurkers, we could level up, who knows? And I think we can get to... No, we had to... Oh, we had to do the gorge first, right. I'd forgotten all about this place. There's actually a pretty cool dungeon in this area. We're not going to go to it yet because, quite frankly, we lack progress in the main campaign to do so. But we will eventually get to that point where we can drain the gorge and move on into the actual cool dungeon area. We're actually going to rest really quickly here, I think. Probably for the best. We are entering a new area. Oh, that was Windows key. I meant to hit Alt.
Quick and quiet.
Not the Windows key. And yeah, we're just gonna carefully explore our way through. We are not going to really engage in any combat in this area if we can help it. A lot of the fights in this type of zone are a little tougher. There are things like feral druids around and other kind of nastier creatures that have significant AoE damage, as well as
Just say the word.
punishing ability to tank and everything. So the more we can stay away from them for at least the time being, the better. We just want to do some easy sort of fetch questy type stuff at this point of the game.
Just say the word.
So that we don't die. That's ultimately our goal. Is not to die a horrible and painful death. Like this person.
Yeah.
This person didn't heed the warnings. And now they're dead. But I'm going to take their loot.
What is it?
Because apparently whoever killed them didn't really care enough to get the Adra off of them. Or the helmet, or whatever else was there. Some coins, I think. Which might mean there's some nasties for us. Like a creature around here somewhere that feeds on the flesh of humankind, or whatever creature that was, whatever species, I guess. Because I guess we're all sort of semi-humanoid races. Let's go to Dyrford. We've made it safely to the town. Relatively safety to the town. Yes, that's exactly what I meant. No, we made it relatively safely here, and hopefully things will go well. There's some cowled people and Eldrith out here. Actually, let's go talk to Eldrith right now. An elf idles by the road, watching the village across the river. He nods as you approach, and the cowled figure standing near him falls silent.
Good day to you.
Greetings, friend. A slow smile forms as he eyes you. I've heard of you. Word has it you've been busy in Defiance Bay. He draws closer. I'm busy too, and eager to finish my business and get back to the city. What business is that? Haven't you heard? There's a murderer on the loose, said to have gone mad with grief and strangled a dozen healthy children when her own was hollowborn. He nods at the figures with him. We've come all this way from Defiance Bay to bring her to justice. Don't let me stop you. He nods across the river. She's hiding out in the village. We go in after her ourselves, but the problem is, she knows our faces. There's no telling what she'd do if she saw us coming, and we'd like to avoid any further unnecessary bloodshed. He leans closer. Her name's Nifri? She's in Orlin. We want to get her out of town so that we can deal with her cleanly. She knows we're looking for her, but if someone were to convince her that it's safe to leave... If she's a mass murderer, why didn't the Duke send the Crucible Knights after her? A look of distaste flickers across his face. It's quick, but you catch it. The powers that be want to keep things quiet for obvious reasons. Better not cause a fuss, and certainly better not to startle her into doing something drastic. I could draw her out. She won't know you. It'll be simple. He nods. I got some questions. What is it? What exactly did Nifra do? She was responsible for the murder of all those babies in Defiance Bay, remember? Terrible thing, but we'll make her pay all right.
Hail and well met.
Any luck? I should go take a look into that. So, Nifra wants... Or sorry, not Nifra, but... A murderer is on the loose here. There's a Dyrford mill. Every town seems to have a mill, which is good. Rumbald. A man paces angrily in front of a wrecked animal pen, his sun-weathered face twisted with ire. He's so wrapped up in a fury that he doesn't seem to notice you. Callowayne's slobbering beasts, blazing bloody effigy, thrice damned salty wench and her soggy... Watch where you're going, you raging fool. He spins to face you, his cheeks puffed up in red. Why, all... He takes a deep breath and lets it out slowly. Not your fault, I'm sorry. Temper's getting the better of me again, but with all of my runts gone, and my pen destroyed, the color rises in his face again. What am I supposed to do? What are you talking about? An ogre moved into the area not long ago. Folk had been seeing glimpses and tracks out of the wood, but it seemed to be staying away from town, or so we all thought, until it made off with my pigs. Now everyone's afraid it's going to develop a taste for kith, if it hasn't already. Did you see the ogre take your pigs? What else would have destroyed my pen and made off with my herd? And at the same time, the rest of the village is seeing a 10-foot monster in the forest. He gives you an appraising look. I knew a few toughs like you during the Saints' War. I know it's too late to get my pigs back, but it set my mind at ease to see that thing's head shorn from its neck. In fact, you bring its ugly pate to me, and I'll trade you for something that's of less use to a farmer like me than to a rowdy-looking sort like yourself. Been sent to find an Orlin named Nifra. Know where she is? Never even heard of her. What do you know about the ogre? It's about the same as any other, I'm sure. A big, ugly son of a bitch with a nasty temper and an appetite to match. Trigil could tell you more. He claims to have seen it in the wood. You can find him in his shop right by the broken tower. Need something else? Nope, that's it. Thank you. Alright, so killing an ogre to save some piggy. Well, not save the piggies. The piggies are long dead. They're eaten. Guaranteed. Grieving Mother is a character we can pick up. We're not going to do that quite yet. I'm going to move this out of the way so I don't make any weird noises when I hit my hand on it accidentally. It's going to be a spy thing that we can't do. Villager, villager, villager. Okay, let's go inside. The funny thing about the group we're currently using is we don't actually have to use it until the end of the game. We could swap out all of our characters if we wanted to. The only person we have to keep until the end of the game is, of course, our paladin at this point. A portly, smiling man stands behind a warped wooden counter, polishing a buckler. He looks up. Haven't seen you before. Always glad to see a new face in town. Company's good for business, and chatter is good for the soul. That's what I always say. Anyhow, what can I do for you? What do you have for sale? Alright, we got a sword, a unique great sword. It's actually a really nice one. The Hours of St. Rumbold, but we don't have anyone that uses great swords. There's a tall grass pike, which is exceptional. It's actually a really nice weapon. The Thorn is a one-headed spear. It's fine, does some crushing damage, and some accuracy and stuff. Grudgekeeper is a rod, which is also fine. Plus 20 damage versus prone, stunned, flanked enemies. That's okay, it's not great. Mosquito is a rapier. It's also fine quality, plus 5 accuracy. Damage restored as endurance and negative 5 concentration, so it's not bad. The Angels Gambesson is a light armor with damage reduction, or athletics, and deleterious alacrity of motion. Deleterious, sorry. But none of those are really what we want. That's actually decent. That's okay too. Not anything we want to really buy, but it gives us the fine opportunity to empty our own inventory of garbage. And we are in a town, so I think I can look through the grimoires. Wait, what was that last one? Was that a pistol as well? Oh, an arquebus. Yeah, we're just gonna sell it. Okay. Armor. All that garbage. Couple helmets and whatever. Gone. Whoops. We are not going to sell that potion. Okay, so that's going to be our selling of stuff. And none of these weapons really appeal to our group currently.
Ready
So
when you are.
one thing I did want to check though. Can I get stuff out of here? Good. Let's go through these grimoires really quickly. We have a lot of grimoires lying around, and it'd be good to go through them and then sell the ones we aren't going to use. We have all of we don't have all those spells. Why can't we learn here? Doesn't help if you put it in your quick slot either. Alright. Oh, because I have the wrong person on. Duh. Alright, let's grab the Fan of Flames. And what else does we have? The Sunless Grasp. It's an okay spell. Why not? It's only $100. One grimoire to sell. Eldritch Aim. Pass. Jolting Touch. Corrosive Siphon is pretty good, but not great. Rolling Flame is actually pretty good. We'll probably take that. Yeah, that's it. Alright, sold. Ray of Fire is neat, but not particularly useful. We're never ever going to use it. We're not going to waste money on things we're never ever going to use. Noxious Burst. Nope. Web is okay, actually. I'll take Web. Same spells. I'm guessing all the Mildewed grimoires are all the same. Yes. So Ibn's grimoire has another spell we don't know. It's Mirrored Image. Okay, never mind. Pass. And Waterlogged one gives us Displaced Image and Dull-Mindedness. Nope. Alright, we're going to sell the rest of them.
Gods keep you.
They're worth $100 each. There we go.
Not a problem.
Okay, so what's been going on in Dyrford? Oh, we're a quiet little town. Not much happens, especially not since the legacy hit. People realized they couldn't have babies and just stopped trying altogether. And that takes a lot of the excitement out of the day-to-day, if you can believe it. I can believe it.
Yes.
Especially if you were a particularly randy town before, and then now you're not so much. That would kind of suck. Okie dokie, let's do this thing. We can get Grieving Mother, I guess. Might as well. Oh. The woman looks briefly through you as if she doesn't know you're there. The middle-aged peasant woman is dressed in brown leather cloth, draped down to her knees. Her hands are working at separating stringy, colorless vegetables in a pile before her, stripping the heads off the long, fibrous stems with a paring knife. She discards the stems one by one, placing the heads of the vegetables into a small cradle-like basket in front of her. She doesn't greet you as you approach. You're not sure she even knows you're there. Excuse me. The woman doesn't respond. She keeps stripping the heads from the vegetables with a steady rhythm. She may be deaf. There's no indication she heard you. I'll study her. At first glance, she seems nothing more than a middle-aged woman, unremarkable, maybe less stern than most, who seems more focused on the weaving in her lap than her surroundings. Yet you suddenly notice she's not stripping the vegetables before her any longer. She's weaving, and the vegetable pots are now missing. She still pays you no mind, her brown locks torn and snagged from lack of washing, like many of the townfolk you've seen. There is a strange blur to her. Even the motions of her hands seem to be playing with the threads that lack color, in a shape that lacks interest. I'm gonna take a drink of water, one sec. Sorry if I hit the microphone a little bit. That's better. It may be that she is half-minded or deaf, but something feels wrong. As you watch, her knitting takes an odd cadence, and you have a terrible suspicion that something lurks beneath what your eyes are showing you. Its focus. Her brown hair is long, almost impossibly to the length of her hands. As you follow the streams of her locks downwards, the hairs become long and black, splitting off into the threads of black and silver, and wrapping around her hands. She is forming a soul cradle with the threads, braiding a net in front of you. Each finger long and sharp like a series of knitting needles, almost hypnotic. The silver and black strands of her hair weave together, with silver predominating as a highlight, the black shadowing it. And suddenly, you are calm. You're on a plateau, almost the height of a tower, several stories high. The plateau is like a table, lying beneath a clear sky, and beneath the plateau, surrounding it in all directions, a forest, hazy with mist, although whether it is actual mist, or distance, or a recollection. Resting in the center, or in the curve of a natural arch above you, is a great copper bell, half again the size of a man, hanging at attention as if looking down on you, and the event unfolding before you. The plateau is soaked in the sun, and the rock beneath you is rough and warm. The sky forms a cradle around you. You feel different, not disembodied, but you feel your body, your physical contours have changed, along with the surroundings. And you hear a soft series of chants like wind chimes. At the sound, the scene gains color and texture, as if the sound is beckoning you gently forth, filling your senses and thoughts, like mist rolling softly into a sealed chamber. And focus on the chimes. The chime coaxes you deeper into the memory, and you're certain it is a memory, a warm one. You are on the stone of the plateau, your knees on the warm texture of the ground, silver, white, shimmering like adra. The plateau is formed of it. Glistening in the sun, you can feel the heat on your skin, your wrists, and your hands. Your hands are in motion. Weaving, not thread, but gathering, tenderly moving along the first movements of Bereth's wheel. Your hands are wet. Your hands are upon the flesh of a newborn child, and you can feel the crowning of a tiny head turning in your grip, its head slick, wet from the womb. The hands you are wearing, inhabiting, have done this many times, and they are practiced and confident. You can feel distant pains in your own head. As the head emerges, a stream of fluid from the womb, helping the newborn slide forth, and a woman's labored breathing crying out. Focus on the child, the movement of our hands. As your hands move, you hear the sound of chimes, clear, cutting through the haze of memory. You cannot see where they are coming from, but they are close, and they are meant as a comfort, of that you are certain. We draw the child forth, and coaxed by your hands, every movement causing the chimes to sound again. Almost eagerly the child comes forth, and as it does, your hands are in motion, weaving, moving along the length of soft, wet rope. No, an umbilical cord from the legs of the naked woman before you. You are holding a small child, still wet from the womb before you. The child cries out, its cry full of life, full of soul, the ringing of chimes echoing in its thoughts, filling it with its welcome. The soul is blurred at the edges, as if you were revealing a soul from within a soul, but it is there, it is alive. The woman before you is weeping, and at her first cry, her hands reach out for it. We surrender the child. You surrender the child to her, something you have done many times before, and as your hands move, the chimes echo the movement, and you realize the chimes are hanging from cords on your wrists, and where they once echoed in the memory, they are now echoing in the child's mind as well. The chimes are intended to welcome the child, to be its first gentle greeting into the world, a soothing sound guided by the tender motions of your wrists. You are helping to weave its thoughts, its perceptions, and the experience. The woman laughs with ragged joy, laughing from a parched throat. Her emotions seem soothed, but the physical demands of labor have left her exhausted. But the child is here, the child is safe, and all atop the plateau is peaceful, calm, distant, flattening out as the memory persists. And let's retreat from the memory. With effort, the scene bleeds of color, and your mind becomes your own again. There is no pull, no anchor, yet the sound of the chimes remains. As they existed in the memory, they sound here as well, and they are hanging from the woven braids on the wrists of the woman before you. Even as your head is spinning from the touch of her mind, the sound of the chimes on her wrist is sharp and clear, as if coaxing you back to the real world. The woman sits before you, but she is nothing like what you first saw. She is wearing black, shredded garments that drape over her form like streamers. Her hair is streaks of black run through with silver. Her age is almost impossible to tell. She simply feels old, like a crumbled watchtower. She lifts her face to face you, her head to face you, and you see that her hair is draped across the front of her face like a veil. What you first saw of her was a mental glamour of some sort, unconscious, and you realize what you see is not what the world sees, and you are perhaps the first to see her true self. Still, you don't sense a threat in the realization. If anything, you feel a sense of relief from the figure. You can hear her thoughts, and she is glad to be at last seen. What was that?
I am seen, but the eyes of others do not remember. You were the first to see me as I am, the call stripped aside.
There is a light touch in your mind, a caress, and her left hand mirrors the motion of the touch, reaching up to the air between you. You hear the chime on her wrist sound softly, her hand moves as if pantomiming, resting on your cheek at a distance, and she speaks softly and slowly.
Your memories. Cadence of wheels on a caravan track. Fever. Questions by running water. Violence in a night's campfire. Arrows in the dark. And fleeing. Falling rock and cracking stone. And a storm. The storm.
She swallows, and the chime sounds as her hand shakes. She stops, her hand frozen in the air.
The storm that brushed you. Did its screaming wake you from your mind's cradle? Your memory of it is painful. Its cry is difficult to ignore. It's like a child. Many children crying out.
The question seems to be for both of you. Be cautious what you read in my mind without my leave. Her hand withdraws shyly, the chime sounding softly once again. The woman stands uncertainly, as if she has been sitting for some time, or is too weak to bear her own weight. You notice her cheekbones are tight, her face gaunt, and yet while her stance is weak, she seems determined to stand before you.
You are able to see me.
It is almost a question. You suddenly realize she doesn't seem to know what you saw when you looked at her, the image on the plateau, yet the image was so clear, so sharp. You're surprised she didn't feel you there.
To see me is a rare gift. A watcher's gift.
How was I able to enter your dream?
So many questions, thoughts whirling like storm winds. That storm still roars through you, deep beneath your thoughts, yet muted and secret, like an underground river. I cannot tell if it is carving new channels, or eroding what keeps your true strength buried. The fact that you could hear it at all, survive it, is something few have ever done. Your power will grow stronger with each soul you touch, as it allowed you to reach out to mine.
There is a silence, and although it seems to last but for a heartbeat, in your thoughts it stretches out between the two of you, like a pull between your minds. You blink, take a breath, and then you realize she wants to ask you a question, yet she can't form the words, as if assembling them is painful, or there are simply not enough pieces. You should come with me, you can't stay here. You feel a wave of fear, gusted with the strength of relief, although oddly, her expression does not change. The fear dissipates, and you feel strength and certainty, as if the plateau from her memory lies beneath you, and a calm sky looks down upon you. And that's it. We have Grieving Mother in our group now. But we are not going to be using her, because we have our group. For now anyways. Hendinya.
Well met, friend.
A young woman leans against a wagon. One arm and one side of her face are covered in bandages with raw, rippled flesh showing underneath. A minty, tangy scent wafts from her dressing. She smiles painfully. Just ventured into town. I'm about dry on some of my stocks, but you're welcome to have a look. Why are your stocks limited? It's the damn rogues. We're rogues, but roads. Can't reach none of my suppliers, so I'm stuck with whatever I can scrounge up in the woods. Deer cap, river reed, and the like. That's well and good, but most potions require something stronger too. Troll skin, vessel bone, what have you. And then there's the really rare ingredients, things you'd never be able to find or afford, let alone find on your own. And what did you find? Hendia winces at the rest as the rest of her story comes tumbling out of her. I've been keeping an eye on the Drake's Nest east of town at Dyrford Crossing, but the beast stayed just long enough to lay a clutch and moved on. Thank the Sky Mother it wasn't a full-grown dragon. She looks at her bandaged arm and grimaces. Fresh eggs are much more useful than the ones that get passed between merchants or left in nests for weeks or more, and that clutch looked to be at its peak. I thought I'd see about getting an egg, but I didn't realize so many of them had already hatched, or that young worms were so territorial. I could grab you an egg. She keeps her gaze steady, but you see hope kindling in her eyes and twitching at the corners of her mouth. I sure hope you're not leading me on. I don't think I could stand getting burned again. She bites her lip. If you really mean to go after it, I'd certainly pay you. Just remember, big as they are, dragon eggs are fragile, and there's a lot more I can do with a whole one.
Greetings.
Anything else I can do for you? I've got some handy ointments if you're braving the roads anytime soon. She adjusts one of her bandages. Let me see what you got. Nothing we really want, probably. No. Alright. So now we want to get a nest egg. Let's go inside one of these fine houses and take a look around. Why not? Can't hurt. You are a backer guy. Although I could probably kill you and get away with it, but you know what? Let's not become murdering psychopaths just yet. Eventually we'll go through and rampage everything if we need to. We'll do it at the very end of the game. It'll be fun. I guess we can go to the inn. The inn has a fairly major quest line. Actually, we're pretty much out of time on this video. The last video was a little bit long. This one can be a little bit shorter. So, like always, if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully, I'll be feeling better tomorrow. Get a good night's sleep, and maybe I can't take any allergy medication because I have to go to the allergist on Friday, so we'll see about that. But otherwise, I'm going to go lay in bed and just sulk at how crappy I feel today, so take care, guys.